x equals 0. I'm trying to, when I'm solving an equation, I'm always trying to get the x by itself. How do I get the x by itself? What do I need to get rid of? How do I get rid of that 10? Do I add 10? No, I don't add 10. Even though there's a subtraction sign, I'm not adding 10, right? The opposite of this positive 10 is a negative 10. So I subtract 10 from this side, which means I have to subtract 10 from the other side, right? Those will cancel out. So what do I have left on the left-hand side? Negative 5x, and that's equal to what? Negative 10. Negative 10. Okay, my x isn't by itself yet, so what do I do now?
Divide by 5.
Good. Divide by negative 5. Excellent. Okay, divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5, and we end up with those canceling, and we have x is equal to positive 2. Okay, easy enough. And then if I wanted to show that solution on a number line, right, it would just be one solid dot right at 2, right? 2 is the only solution. And when we have an equation like this, we have just one solution. But what have we been looking at this week? Not equations, what have we been looking at? Inequalities, very good, right? So when we have an inequality, the answer isn't just one single number. It's going to be a whole range of numbers, right? It's either going to be 2 and everything below it, 2 and everything above it, or just everything below 2 or above 2, not including 2, right? So let's take a look at this. So this is like the inequality version of this equation. And we'll just go through the steps to solve this again, right? So again, my first step is going to be to get rid of this 10. Get rid of the 10 by subtracting 10 from both sides, right? And that lets those 10s cancel out. And I've got negative 5x. And then what do I do for my inequality?
You have to switch it around.
I do. I didn't divide by a negative number, not yet at least. Yeah, it just stays as it is, right? Just stays the way I see it. And then, right, 0 minus 10 gives me negative 10. And then now, to get rid of that negative 5, I need to divide by negative 5, right? On both sides, so that those negative 5s cancel out. And I have just my x left over. And then on the right-hand side, again, negative 10 divided by negative 2, or negative 10 divided by negative 5 gives us that positive 2. And now, since we divided by the negative 5, now we have to flip our inequality the other way. Okay? So solving an inequality, we saw this yesterday as well, solving an inequality is exactly the same as solving an equation. The only difference is when we divide or multiply by a negative number, then we have to switch the sign, right? So my solution here would be, instead of just one solid dot, what am I going to do for my graph of this inequality? What do I do? 2, open circle. Good, going to the right, because x is greater than 2. So it's everything bigger than 2, not including 2. All right, let's flip over to the other side of the paper, and I'm going to do some practice problems with you. Okay, we're going to start with number 37. Do you see how 37 is really similar to the one we did on the other side? What are the two operations you see in number 37? What are the two operations? There's subtraction and what else? And multiplication, right? Subtraction and multiplication. What do we have to undo first? Remember, we worked backwards. We have to undo the subtraction first. How do we undo subtraction? Huh? How do you undo subtraction? What's the opposite of subtracting? Addition. Yes. Right, so I'm going to add first. What am I going to add to both sides of this equals of the inequality? Good, I'm going to add this 8 because that allows those 8s to cancel out. If I add 8 over here, I've got to add 8 to the other side. So now I have 3x. And my inequality for now, it just stays the same. It's greater than or equal to. So that'd be 14 plus 8 is 22, but this is negative 14 plus 8. What's negative? Good, negative 6. Very good. Okay, now what do I do to solve for x? Very good. Divide by 3. And that means I have to divide by 3 over here. These 3's cancel out. Got x by itself. Do I have to flip my inequality? Why not? I am dividing, but I'm not dividing by a negative, right? I'm dividing by a positive 3. Even though this 6 is negative, even though my answer is going to be negative, I didn't divide by a negative. Does that make sense? Yeah, so then I keep the inequality as it is, so my answer is x is greater than or equal to, not negative 3, what's the answer? Negative 2, thank you. Okay, so then how do I graph that? Remind me again.
Go to -2.
Mm-hmm.
And then make a built-in dot.
Good.
And then go to the right.
Good. Very good. Okay. Let's do 38. What operations do you see? Very good. Addition and multiplication. We have to undo the addition first. How do we undo addition? Minus subtraction, right? So what am I going to subtract from both sides? Very good. 6, right? These 6's cancel. I've got negative 3x. Right? I haven't divided or multiplied by a negative number, so I keep the inequality as it is, greater than or equal to. And then what's negative 3 minus 6? Good, negative 9. And now I have this multiplication left over. How do I undo multiplication? Division, right? I got to divide. What am I going to divide both sides by? Negative 3. Okay, my negative 3's cancel out. I've got x by itself. And over on the right-hand side, what's negative 9 divided by negative 3? Yeah, positive 3. And what's my inequality? Yeah, it's going to be less than or equal to. We have to flip it because we divided by the negative 3. Cool? Okay, so then how do I graph that? Filled in dot at where? Positive 3. And which way does it go? Left. Very good. Okay? Clear? Yeah? Do you see how most of the problems on that paper look just like these ones? They have like multiplication and either addition or subtraction. They're pretty much the same steps. Are there any on there that are different? Look at your paper. Are there any problems on there that you think have different steps?
43.
Very good. 43 and 44. Those ones look a little bit different, don't they? What is the operation? Let's do 44 together. What's the operations you see in number 43? Or 43 together, sorry. Huh? Good. Division and addition. What one do we undo first? We undo the addition first with subtraction. So what am I going to subtract from both sides in number 43? 8, yes. Right? My 8's cancel out, and I've got x over negative 5, right? That means x divided by negative 5 is less than 2. 10 minus 8 gives me 2. And now I have this division left over, right? X divided by -5. How do we undo division? We multiply. So what am I going to multiply both sides by? Good, -5. Okay. That gets those -5s to cancel out. And we have X on the left. On the right, what do I have? 10 times -5. It is -10. And what's my inequality?
X is greater than
Very good. X is greater than -10. We had to flip it because we multiplied by a negative number. Okay? And then let's graph this. I don't have any numbers on this number line, but I can just write -10 in the middle. And what's to the left of -10? That's good. And to the right, -9. So I'm going to draw my graph at -10. I do an open circle because it's greater than, not greater than or equal to. And I'm going to the right. X is greater than -10. All right? Any questions? It's the same exact steps as solving the equation. The only thing you got to be careful about is when you multiply or divide by the negative number. Yes, Will?
So do you not so do you not just cancel that out? Do you just add the -5 to the other side? You don't just subtract -5 from 2?
So I'm multiplying, so the way that I got rid of the -5 on this side was that I multiplied by -5.
No, I see that, but then you also did it on the other side.
Yeah,
Except
so
except you didn't just immediately cancel it out, you wrote it into the equation.
So yeah, because that doesn't 2 times -5 doesn't cancel out.
Or not cancel out, but
So then, right, I just multiplied by -5, multiplied by -5, and then when I simplified it, I got rid of those 5s over here, and then on the right-hand side, I did 2 times -5, which is -10. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. Any other questions? All right.